Welcome to SVG-TV News for Tuesday, January 12, 2016. I am Jennifer Richardson with the details. The 7 students who died in the tragic rock gutter accident 1 year ago today have been remembered in a special way. The remembrance activity started off last evening with a candlelight vigil at the accident site, attended by family and friends. Today, January 12, 2016, exactly 1 year since the horrific accident, there were 2 wreath-laying ceremonies. One at the accident site for the 2 students, Chanstacia Stay and Simonic Ballantyne, whose bodies were never recovered from the sea. The other wreath-laying ceremony took place at the Fancy Cemetery for the other 5 victims who were buried there: Anik Alexander, Raquel Ashton, Jamal and Jamali Edwards, and Glenroy Michael. Following the wreath-laying ceremonies, a special memorial service was held on the Fancy Hat Court, attended by a number of persons who came out to show support to their loved ones. In addressing the gathering, Pastor Sigmund Wiggins of the North Windward District of Seventh-day Adventists told the family of the deceased that though it will be difficult, it is time for them to move on, noting that they should not get stuck in the tragedy or the hallways of a regrettable yesterday. He told the families that life goes on and that tomorrow is brighter than yesterday, noting that though their children did not get to fulfill their dreams, their legacies can still live on through them and their faith in God. In tomorrow's newscast, we will bring you a full coverage of the memorial events held in Fancy. Pregnant women and young mothers here and throughout the region are being advised to be on the alert and to take the necessary cautionary steps to avoid getting the Zika virus, as there is no cure but treatment for the symptoms. According to PAHO country specialist Anik Wilson, the organization continues to encourage SVG and other countries in the region to work assiduously in the containment and prevention of the virus should there be confirmed cases. Wilson asked for persons to continue to play their part in the reduction of the Aedes aegypti mosquito, which carries the infection.
As was said before, the Zika is infection that is attained through a mosquito bite of the Aedes aegypti mosquito. There is no vaccine specific for the treatment of the Zika virus infection. Therefore, the treatment for everyone, including pregnant women, is directed to alleviating symptoms. As a result, PAHO urges women who are pregnant or planning to become pregnant to seek parental care, to receive information and monitoring during pregnancy, and to follow all the doctor recommendations that they would have received.
As it relates to traveling, Wilson said that pregnant women should consult their doctors beforehand and ensure that they go for a checkup and receive the necessary information about the signs and symptoms and all the the problems associated with the virus, so that if they are to become infected, they can easily and quickly seek medical attention.
The most important is to avoid, as this was said before, mosquito bites. And it's not just to prevent Zika, but also to remember dengue and chikungunya, which is still also circulating. In this respect, pregnant women and women of reproductive age groups should follow all the advice and recommendations that has been presented before. And I just spoke about a few of them: protecting the skin from exposure to bites by wearing long sleeve pants, long sleeve shirts, using repellents, as I said before, and if they sleep during the day, they should sleep under a mosquito net, which is insecticide treated, and work with their communities to eliminate mosquito breeding sites.
Wilson says PAHO is doing all it can to ensure that SVG has enough manpower and equipment to fight Zika and other possible outbreaks, but needs the assistance of all Vincentians.
Well, PAHO is working assiduously with countries to monitor the situation. We have been giving countries advice on outbreaks. We have been training persons in surveillance. We have had our advisors work in country to strengthen the vector-borne disease strategy. In fact, we worked with St. Vincent on updating their strategy. So things are in place to actually monitor the situation and to provide the necessary support and surveillance, both in terms of manpower and also other technical cooperation activities.
Leader of the ruling Unity Labour Party, Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, says the use of scientific data is recommended when someone assumes the outcome of an election. He was at the time speaking on a radio program on Sunday and noted that the New Democratic Party has not won the majority of popular votes in the general elections for 21 years now. Dr. Gonsalves said that facts show that the NDP has been in decline even up to the recent 2015 general elections, with the Unity Labour Party, the ULP, having a swing in the increase of votes with over 2.5% of the popular votes.
All these big swings which we have had, and you have an average swing of in excess of 2.5% across the country. Look, I don't know if you realize this. The votes that the ULP got, the swing towards the ULP in the NDP constituencies, even except Central Kingston, the swing was larger than the swing that we had in our own constituencies. It means that the ULP has demonstrated that it has the capacity to poach votes and take the votes from inside of the NDP constituencies. That is what these fellas, while they're worrying about the last election, you notice the analysis I'm giving you about for the next one?
Yes, very much so.
Huh?
Yes.
I'm a scientific person, you know. I subject the numbers to scientific analysis.
Prime Minister Gonsalves noted that he sees it highly unbelievable when NDP supporters are protesting the results of the December 9th, 2015 elections, when it has been declared and approved as free and fair.
What kind of foolishness in the 21st century that we are having? These people have gone off their rockers. And what they don't realize is that by behaving and talking like that in their own echo chamber, and people laughing at them, you know, we are losing more and more support. I mean, it's surely the country deserves better than that kind of opposition. Must deserve better.
And the leader of the New Democratic Party, Annie Eustace, on radio on Monday, reiterated that the leadership and members of the party in no way intend to give up their fight for justice. Eustace noted that he encourages and accepts the involvement of other individuals who see it fit to speak out against what is currently happening in SVG, as it is not just an NDP or ULP matter. Commenting on statements made by the Prime Minister following the Thursday 7th January 2016 fire at the Public Works Building in Honnesville, Eustace claims that the Prime Minister has lost legitimacy in SVG and has reduced the country to being a laughingstock abroad by seeking to throw blame at the NDP for causing the fire.
When our society depends and is driven down to such depths of corruption, then we are in real trouble. And the only way we can change that trouble, and this position that we now hold in the minds of people all around, the one of decency and respect for democracy, is for the ULP administration, so-called, to not be recognized by the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. They certainly not recognized by the NDP, and we will continue our position in relation to that as the time goes on.
The Very Reverend Patrick Macintosh, Dean of the St. George's Cathedral, will be laid to rest this Friday. The funeral service will take place at the Victoria Park from 2 p.m. His body is expected to lie at the St. George's Cathedral tomorrow from 11 a.m. for viewing. The Anglican priest died last Tuesday, January 5th, at the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital. His passing has been described as a great loss to Anglicans here and throughout the region. Coming up, prison superintendent expresses concern with the number of young males behind bars. This and other stories when we return with more local news. Don't go away. Inmates at Her Majesty's Prison in Kingstown are benefiting from a number of skills training programs which would prepare them to be productive members of society upon release. Some of the prisoners are also being trained in the area of technical drawing and are being instructed by prison officer Gaston Pilgrim, who himself was trained at the Technical College. Speaking with SVG-TV News, Pilgrim thanked the Superintendent of Prisons for the opportunity to impart his knowledge to the inmates and says he is encouraged by the progress they have been making.
It's something that I always love from small, like drawing. So after I went and I do it now, I come back and I say, some of the guys have problem with seeking jobs outside, they have no skill. So I was saying to myself, well, if they have skill, it might kind of keep them back from making trouble. So I started off with 2 guys. And it kind of motivated me to see what they did within the time. Because I was saying, maybe they might have quit, but they didn't quit. So I carried on along and I introduced other guys to it. And it bearing good fruit. As far as I see it, it brings some good fruit for us because I started these 2 guys today. And as you see, in college when we had 2 hours was to do our job, right? And in our 2 hours we couldn't put out the amount of work. These guys have time, and they had. So they could do more. We take me to do in a year, these guys could do in 3 months.
Superintendent of Prisons Brenton Charles says he is concerned about the high rate of incarceration of young males, with most of them possessing no skills. Charles is also calling for retired professionals to give of their time to impart knowledge to the inmates.
I think there are a lot of people out there, you know, retired persons who would like to make contributions to society. I'd like to call on them if they can consider the prison and at least 6 hours of their time a week could make a tremendous difference in the lives of our inmates. You know, people from different skill set, mechanic, welders, joiners, you know, if they can see the need of passing what they know onto someone else, equipping them, you know, that they can make a living and livelihood for their families and themselves. You know, we would appreciate that.
2 of the inmates who benefit from the training in technical drawing expressed gratitude for the program and enthusiasm in the prospect of being a productive member of society upon release.
To know, right, is that we take this serious, and since we're in here wasting time, we really got a chance to really start something new. Change your life when you go out. You don't really want to be coming back here and boy say, boy, he's a jailbird. No, we don't want them thing there. So as we know, if we take it up and try to deal with it and try to make it useful to we. If we don't do that, we don't know. Actually, I think it's an interesting program, actually, to keep our mind occupied while we are here have nothing much to do, you know what I mean? It can keep us focused and get ready for the outer world.
If you continue this program, you think in the future eventually believe that you'll be able to have something productive to do outside?
Well, I do believe that, you know, because at least even though I live here and then I have everything compact together, you know, with this I can at least share whatever I learn with someone on the outside, and also I can pass it on to my children that they may be able to pass it on to somebody else, because at least it's an opportunity for somebody to pass this on to me. I'm grateful for that.
Music, particularly karaoke, will be used in the various communities as a way for the police to cultivate a better relationship with members of the public. This pledge comes from Commissioner of Police Michael Charles, who emphasized that while officers have a reasonably good relationship with members of the public, they will ensure that for 2016 there is a closer connection. Charles says that this initiative also ensures that persons feel more at ease to interact with officers to help combat crime.
We decided to go into some of the areas that were deemed as hotspot and have a karaoke session between the public and the police. So, it was started by Mr. Miller and SB Nichols. We can still tap into his resources and so on because he's still very, the sergeant is still there with us, right? And we're aiming to use this as a good, to foster better relationship with the public. Really. The police canteen is free. You can come up there, play pool, sing karaoke. We have karaoke Friday nights, and meet and mingle with the police. Really. So our public relations for 2016, we're looking to reach out, not only on St. Vincent Mainland but also in the Grenadines. We have some invitation for Union Island to come down and sing karaoke, so looking forward for that also.
The head of the police force also pointed out that their drug abuse resistance education program there will also be revamped for the new year. Commissioner Charles says they will be more proactive by ensuring that they engage delinquent youngsters to help steer them on the right path.
Step Up is the day program. We know they've been doing a good job over the years, but we want to see if we can boost the morale of the officers because a lot of people may not realize the amount of work they do within the schools. We have some other officers, like Sergeant Garvey Thomas. He's trained in this area, and from time to time the ministry will call and Garvey Thomas, Sergeant Meldon James, to go to other schools, also troublesome children in these areas, and we don't want to wait on the Ministry of Education, not the principal. We're going to take the initiative, set up appointments and send out these officers to these areas. These are one of the things we're planning to do in 2016.
Jurors who have previously sat and are currently sitting in the High Court criminal session were highly commended by the presiding judge, Justice Kathy Ann Lachu, at the commencement of the criminal session earlier today. Justice Lachu said that the jury in this jurisdiction has a good record based on their punctuality, which is a good thing. She, however, told them that when selected to serve, that they must bring their full attention to the trial. She also warned that jurors must not have any discussion with anyone during the trial. She says if they do so, they will not be able to focus properly on the evidence and will not be able to return a proper verdict. Police are investigating the circumstances surrounding the death of Patrick Jack, a 37-year-old conductor of Lago Heights. Jack's body was found around mid-morning on Monday, January 11th, with gunshot wounds about his body in the Otley Hall area. A postmortem is expected to be carried out on the body. Jack's death is recorded as the first homicide for 2016.